Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Yacono. After a U.S. Supreme Court ruling in her favor earlier this week, Laurel Libby returned to Maine's House of Representatives today to do what the people of Auburn sent her there to do: vote on legislation. But she remains silenced in another way thanks to the censure that still remains in effect. News Center Maine's Donovan Lynch was at the State House today when it all played out. Another Republican has thrown his hat into the ring in the race for governor. State Senator Jim Libby made that announcement just this morning. He's a four-term state senator. Before that, served 2 terms in the House. And this is not his first time running for governor. He campaigned for that office back in 2002.
We're going to find a new way to work together. And it's irregardless of my basically relatively conservative principles. I don't care about that. And it's not about me. It's about the state of Maine. It's about all of us working together.
Libby is the 5th Republican to file paperwork and qualify to run for governor. The others are Bobby Charles, who worked at the State Department in the Bush 41 administration, Falmouth real estate broker David Jones, Stephen Shepard of Bangor, and former Paris Selectman Robert Wessels. There are more familiar names on the Democrat side, with current Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson of Allagash, and Angus King III, son of the U.S. Senator and former governor, and Kenneth Forrest Panett of South Portland. Of course, those lists are expected to grow in the coming weeks as more candidates come forward. The owner of a longtime Lewiston restaurant is behind bars tonight. Xing Feng Dong, who is from China and runs Canton Walk, was recently taken into custody by immigration agents. News Center Maine's Alex Haskell spoke with a family member who says they are worried about what comes next. News Center Maine has reached out to ICE for more information on why Dong is in jail and what happens next. We have not yet heard back. And we do want to mention the ACLU of Maine has sent out records requests to all of our state's jails to get a clearer picture on how they work with ICE to detain people. That group is still waiting for that information. When we come back tonight, vaccine programs in Maine 100 days now into the appointment of RFK Jr. as America's top health official. And later, the push to not only get rid of PFAS-contaminated soil, but also finding crops that can grow in it and not be harmful to other living things. You're watching News Center Maine at 6. As Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is about to mark a milestone in his tenure as Secretary of Health and Human Services, many health advocates and some leaders in Congress have growing concerns about the impact of Kennedy's stance on vaccines and how his decisions to reduce staff at the agency impact public health. News Maine's Raya Wooten has more. Local health institutions and organizations we contacted chose not to comment for this story today, pointing out that information is changing too quickly at the federal level to make a public position right now. Well, even for hardy Mainers, the weather outside did not feel like a day in late May. Keith Carson says we're in for more of the same over the next couple of days. His forecast is coming up. And later, the kind of science teacher we all wish we had, as News Center Maine at 6 continues. Researchers at the University of Maine are conducting tests to see if they can actually grow plants in PFAS-contaminated soil and make them safe enough to be consumed by livestock and maybe one day people. News Center Maine's Vivian Lee has our update from Unity. Research and recommendations from those projects could be available to the farmers within the next 2 years. Right now, you can find much more information on PFAS on newscentermaine.com. When we come back tonight, a national honor for a local teacher. We'll ask any scientist what or maybe who inspired them to do what they do. Odds are pretty good it was a teacher from their youth. One such teacher is Tracy Vasiliev, whose passion for science is very clear, not only to her students, but also now to a national organization that has just named her one of America's STEM Teachers of the Year. News Center Maine's Brianna Bush met up with her today at a science fair.